Right now, someone is watching you, not with their eyes, with their memory. They have been cataloging you. Every time you got angry, they wrote it down. Every time you went quiet, they marked it. Every time you flinched, they smiled. You thought you were being honest. You were actually being mapped. Your emotions are not private. They never were. They are a language, and others are fluent. Every outburst you've had in the last year, someone filed it away. Every time you showed them what you wanted, they began withholding it. Every time you showed them what you feared, they stored the coordinates. You are not paranoid for feeling this. You are late to a game that started without you. This video is the manual they never wanted you to find. Stop. Before you keep scrolling, understand what is actually at stake here. Your emotional reactions are the most valuable intelligence you possess, and you've been giving it away for free. Every person who has ever controlled you knew one thing about you that you didn't know yourself. They knew your trigger, and they kept it in their pocket like a key. Today, that key gets taken back. Today, you close the map. But first, you need to understand the full depth of what has been done to you. Because this isn't about one person who hurt you. This is a pattern, a system. And like all systems, once you see it, you cannot be caught by it again. Pay attention. What follows will change every room you walk into forever. This is Robert Greene's warning, and it was meant for you. You have been told your emotions are your strength, that vulnerability is bravery, that showing people exactly how you feel builds trust, builds connection, builds loyalty. And for good people, in a world of good people, that would be true. But you do not live in that world. You live in this one. A world where some people learned long ago to use your openness as a diagnostic tool. They are not evil in the dramatic sense. They are simply strategic in a way you were never taught to be. You were taught to express. They were taught to observe. You were taught that anger means something is wrong. They learned that your anger tells them exactly what to take from you. You were taught that sadness deserves comfort. They learned that your sadness tells them what you cannot live without. You were taught that excitement is innocent. They learned that your excitement reveals your ambitions and your blind spots. This is not your fault. You were not broken. You were not naive. You were simply playing by rules that no one told you had been rewritten. Think about the last time someone used your anger against you in an argument. They did not win that argument by being right. They won it by staying cold while you burned. Think about the last time someone took something from you by simply waiting for you to want it badly enough. They did not take it by being stronger. They took it by reading your need. And the cruelest truth is this: the more genuine you are, the better the map they build of you. Your honesty was their research. Your heart was their laboratory. But the laboratory is closing, starting now. Because the real problem was never that you felt too much. It was that you showed it without strategy. The answer is not to become cold. The answer is to become unreadable. The answer is to understand the map and then burn it. Robert Greene spent his life studying the men who built these maps and the men who were destroyed by them. He found the same patterns across centuries, across cultures, across every level of power. And what he found is this: those who survived were not the strongest, not the most talented. They were the most strategically opaque, the least mappable, the most sovereign over their own interior. And today, every lesson that follows will move you toward that sovereignty, not as a tool of cruelty, not as a performance of coldness, but as an act of self-preservation, of dignity, of finally playing the game on your own terms. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Now, let us meet the man who mapped the Mapmakers. Robert Greene was not born powerful. He was born observant. He spent decades in the courts of power, in the rooms where decisions were made and men were used. And he noticed something that no one was willing to say out loud. Power does not respond to emotions. Power responds to the management of them. He studied the patterns of Caesar and Borgia, of Medici and Machiavelli, of every figure who had mastered the interior game, and he distilled it into laws. Laws that the powerful had always known, but never published. The most important of those laws, for you, right now, today, is this one. Keep your emotions as a kind of fetid swamp, reveal their depths to no one, become the Sphinx. The Sphinx, a being that asks questions, never answers them, a being that projects presence without projecting vulnerability. That is the model, not a machine, not a sociopath, a Sphinx. A living being with tremendous inner depth, none of which belongs to anyone who hasn't earned it. Now, 8 laws, each one a piece of the map you'll never hand over again. Take notes, not because you might forget, but because you deserve to treat this with that kind of respect. Lesson 1 is already changing the way you hold yourself in a room, because the body communicates everything the mouth doesn't say, and we will teach both to go silent. This is not manipulation, this is sovereignty. There is a profound difference. The manipulator uses silence to control others. The sovereign uses silence to protect himself. We are building the second, always the second. Let the lessons begin. Every reaction you show is a receipt they keep. It proves the transaction worked. When someone criticizes you publicly and you go red, they now know criticism is a lever. When someone mentions a rival and you tense, they now know competition is a lever. When someone ignores you and you pursue, they now know withdrawal is a lever. You handed them a machine for controlling you, and you assembled it in real time in front of them with your own hands. The psychology behind this is called operant conditioning, but in power dynamics, it's simpler. They tested you, and you confirmed the test. Every emotional display is a data point. Enough data points, and they have your behavioral model. And a behavioral model is a control panel, for you, operated by them. What you can do starting today, introduce a 2-second pause between feeling and expression. 2 seconds. In that gap, choose what to show, choose what to withhold. Begin to author your display. Not every feeling needs an audience. Not every reaction needs to be witnessed. The most powerful men in history were not cold, they were private. There is a difference. Cold means nothing is there. Private means everything is there, and you haven't earned it. Drop this in the comments right now. My privacy is my power, not my wound. Lesson 1 has already changed the way they will read you, or fail to. The man who moves least in a room is often the most powerful force in it. You have been taught that energy wins rooms, that presence means volume, that confidence means performance. This is the lie that keeps loud men small and keeps quiet men permanently misread. Real stillness is not passivity, it is the posture of a man who has already decided. Think about the last negotiation, argument, or confrontation where you spoke too soon. You gave up your position before they had shown you theirs. You handed them an advantage they didn't earn. Stillness is not weakness. Silence is not loss. Waiting is not defeat. The psychology, stillness forces the other person to project onto you. They fill your silence with their own fears and assumptions. They will confess to fill your silence. They will concede to fill your silence. They will reveal their position to fill your silence. Starting today, in every tense conversation, speak less than you think you should. Then speak less than that. Count the pauses you create. Watch what flows into them. You will be amazed what people hand you if you simply do not fill the space. Drop this below. I am the destination, not the pursuit. The man who speaks last often owns the room. The man who speaks least is often the one being watched. Become the room's center of gravity, not its most audible voice. That is lesson 2 installed. Let's go deeper. Every moment you show them your maximum, they know your limit, and limits are negotiating tools. You have done this, we all have. In arguments, you showed the most upset you could be. In romance, you showed the most feeling you could feel. In work, you showed the most effort you were willing to give. And then they expected it every time and gave you nothing new for it. The psychology, human expectation is calibrated to whatever you establish as normal. Reveal your ceiling,
it becomes their floor. Keep a ceiling above your visible ceiling, a reserve they never see, a depth they never measure. This is not about giving less, it's about being more than they can account for. Practical application. In negotiations, in arguments, in every test, give 70% of your full, save 30, always. Drop this in the comments. They haven't seen my real level yet. The 30% reserve changes the entire dynamic. Suddenly, you have a next move they didn't plan for. Suddenly, you are unmeasured, unmapped, and an unmapped man cannot be predicted. An unpredictable man cannot be controlled, and a man who cannot be controlled is free. On to lesson 4. This one will change how you handle the people who provoke you. When they provoke you, they are not trying to win an argument.